Okay, so since I lost my workshop in the garage, I've converted our third bedroom into, well, it's already a storage room, but converted it into a new little workshop. So I've been outside working on a new project. That's why I'm covered in sawdust here. I've got two new tables that I built. This one is a 4 foot by 4 foot, or a little bit bigger. This is a 2 foot by 6 foot. The 4 foot table is a 1/2 inch MDF that's wrapped with pine, 3.5 inch by 3/4 inch. And same goes for this table, but the only difference is I decided to paint this one because I had a seam. I was using some scrap wood just to make the most of the material that I had, so I figured the paint would hide the seam better. And then when I finished this, it was very uneven. I finished it with multiple coats of shellac and then 2 coats of polyurethane, just so it's easy to wipe up spills and that. I'm sure I'll be painting and stuff. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the new workshop. Still got a lot of stuff to put together and more tools to bring in and get situated. So I made 2 of these pegboards. They're 2 foot by 4 foot, and I just wrapped them in some 1 by 2 pine strips. Turn it over here. So there's a cleat installed on the top, and it's got a 45-degree bevel. Now I did cut a 1/4 inch dado in the 1 by 2 pine, and that way the 1/4 inch pegboard could actually slide right in with a little bit of glue. It makes it a lot stronger. And to hang it, it's pretty easy. Just come over here. And it drops right on the cleat, and it's not going anywhere. So this is a close-up shot of one corner of the table. So I put casters on the bottom of the table legs, and these actually have a brake on them, which is nice. I wanted to be able to move the table around if I had a large piece that I was working on. That way, and I have a soldering station in the back of the hobby room, so I wanted to be able to actually pull the whole table toward me if I needed to, you know, solder on a large item. And I'm working on a new project for the zombie containment chamber, which is going to be a big control panel, a separate control panel. So there's going to be a lot of soldering involved, a lot of cool LED lighting, lots of eye candy. So I needed a space to get that done. So these are my legs. It's just 2 pieces of 3.5 inch pine boards, and I actually did rip one down. I ripped 3/4 of an inch on one, so they would be the exact same dimension on each side. Glued them, nailed them with some finish nails, clamped them, let it dry, and then sanded everything. Put a coat of shellac on there, sanded it, and then put a coat of hand-wiped polyurethane just to protect the wood. I've got some 3/4 inch good quality plywood on the bottom, because that's where all of the weight's going to be. And then I installed these casters, and I had to use these because I bought the kind with the metal bracket, and it overhung a little bit, so I figured this was the way to go. These can only handle about 10 less pounds than the other one can, but it's 80 pounds each. I'm gonna have 4 of them, so there's no way I'm ever gonna have more than a couple hundred pounds on this, and even that's a lot. So, and the whole table is actually pretty lightweight. So I have 4 of these legs. I'm just installing them in the corner like so, and then I'll use a speed square just to make sure they're square to the table. So it's always a good idea to tighten everything alternately. You don't want to like tighten one bolt down really tightly and then do the other ones, because that could potentially pull your piece out of square. And that's true for any furniture that you have to assemble it yourself, furniture you buy at the store and have to assemble. It's always a good idea to just finger tighten everything as best you can alternately, and then use any tools to finish the job. In this case, I haven't had to use any tools. This pine's pretty soft, so I'm able to just use my fingers to pull those carriage bolts in, except for this one is kind of proud, so I'll go grab a pair of pliers. Okay, so I'm nice and square here, but you can see right here I have a little bit of a gap. So I'm going to take these shims and I'm just going to put one right here. I need a little piece, so I'll just break that front of that one off. But you want to shim it on both sides of your bolt so everything stays nice and square. Then I can put my bolts through. So here it is in all its glory. So it moves around real nice. I could even rotate it if I need to, which is cool. Okay, so I have all the brakes on and it's pretty stable. I mean, I'm not going to be, clamping a bench vise on here and doing any like major machining or carpentry or anything. I just wanted something for more of the crafty type stuff, and then for putting electronics components together, things like that. So to make this table, all I did was I put a 1/2 inch sheet of 4x4 MDF onto 2 sawhorses, and then I just mitered the corners on these 1x4s. Actually, they're 3/4 by 3.5 inches. Just pine boards, not furring strips. It's one grade up above that, but it's not the high end. The high end pine, the finished pine, was like 3 times the amount as these boards, and I just wanted something kind of simple for doing craft projects and assembling things, drawing, sketching, whatever. And now I have this big, awesome workspace to do it, and then if I ever need to disassemble this, it will probably take about 5 minutes to pull all these bolts out, and then you can move it to the next house or put it in the garage or the backyard if you want to work outside. So yeah, pretty happy with the project overall. To seal, to get this finish, you're working with MDF, so you have to seal it, and there's a few different ways you can do it. One reason I wrapped the edges of the MDF is because it's really difficult to get a nice edge on MDF. I mean, you have to prime it and sand it, or use multiple coats of sanding sealer, and even there's a couple of spots on the other side of the table on the top where I had to do a little bit of sanding to get this completely smooth. You can see it pulled a little bit of the finish away, but so I had to do extra coats of shellac. So I just used a spray, actually a can of sanding sealer shellac. It's water-based, and I actually put it in just a cheap sprayer hooked up to my air compressor, and then shot it, let it dry for about an hour or so, sanded it lightly, and then I did 3 coats total of that. And then I have 1 coat of gloss polyurethane. I'm using gloss because I want to be able to wipe up spills if I'm doing some painting or something. And I just have 1 more final coat to do. I wanted to assemble the whole table before I did the final coat. That way I can do the legs and everything. And I'm just using a wipe-on polyurethane for that. And then I'll let it dry for 24 hours and I can start using it.